Alright guys, we're up to brown belt locks with the Riv-Pick. So far it's still holding up great. Funny enough, the bend on this one has actually been getting less. If you want to compare it to older videos, slightly less, and that's mostly from me picking dimple locks with it and side pins and stuff like that. So I think maybe just if you get a bent pick, just pick some dimple locks. So, but on a serious note, they did send me a replacement and everything on its jam up. It's nowhere near as tight as mine came. My original one came. I haven't really picked with it much, just been keeping it until I need to. It's a little stiff, but again, I'll shoot some Houdini on that one like I did this one, which actually loosened everything up nicely, but nothing on this one's bent. They sent this the day I sent, like, again, I mentioned, I emailed them that night. The next morning, it was, they had one in the mail to me, so that was really good customer service on their part. All right, so to the locks, I don't have a whole lot of brown belt pin tumbler locks. Something like a gold P would have been nice to have, but I don't have one. I sold the one I had. I did try to pick a multi-lock, serrated, and I just couldn't get good feedback on the serrated pins with the Riv, which again is not designed for that, but just to see if it could do it, and it just didn't work. Then some of the other sidebar locks, or brown belt locks I have sidebars, and something like the Schlage Primus here. That keyway is just too small on the bottom to get the Riv-Pick in there, and I actually have to use something like a little custom pick to get in there to those fingers. But that argument would be made to any profile that's on this pick, even if it was a full-size pick. So again, not the pick's fault that the keyway is too tight. It needs a custom tool. Brown belt locks, a lot of times that is part of what makes them brown, is needing a custom tool. But we picked a Dorma DC 500. This is a lesser version of the ASA 700. Still has trees and gins and tapers. They just put conical milling in it, which just defeats the purpose of having under milling, because the pins can still counter rotate. But it's still a good high tolerance lock, and this one actually mixes between tapers and trees, so I'll have to really make sure I know what I'm touching and what the pin states are. Picked a Robowar. This is a mini ASA Twin 6K. It's got 4 false gated side pins, 5 top pins, and 4 of those are barrels with counter milling. And then just to do something fun and different, I picked a West 916. This is a 12 pin lock, dimple lock, and I used the medium hook to base more or less like a flag, just going back and forth. But that's what we did for brown, and thoughts on the pick so far. It's been holding up great. Again, I really have no complaints about it. I'm really happy with it and excited to see how far we can keep going to red and black. And it does have its restrictions as far as, you know, what you can do with it, in the sense of it being a 25 thousandths pick. I know I did mention before it's 23, and that I was going by what Sandman's review had said, but these are actually supposed to be 25 thousandths, so I don't want to misrepresent that. So a 25 thousandths pick, picking these locks, you know, in my opinion, you can't ask for much. I mean, much more than that. I mean, it's doing the job, feedback's good, so don't really have any critiques or complaints from it from there. We shouldn't have got here, according to everybody else. We shouldn't be able to pick high security locks with this thing, but yet here we are. So enjoy the videos, and I'll keep picking. All right, we got our Dorma DC 500 here. It's a 7-pin lock. It's a lesser version of the ASA 700. It has a gin spools, Christmas tree spools, and also, let's see if I do it like that, and it has tapered drivers. So this takes a lot of tension to get the taper set. And then, well, the milling isn't as effective on this. It's because the milling is cone shaped on this, it doesn't require float picking, but I thought this would be a nice example also. One, two, three, four. A lot of tension on 5. Nice click there. 6 and 4. I heard something fall, so let's check 3. 7 is loose. 6 is loose. Got a little bit of plug movement on 6. I mean, sorry, 5. 7, 6, 5, 2. Make sure 3 is good. 7, we got some plug movement there. So let's check. Getting counter rotation on 1. Let me move up to that next step of the warding. Make sure I'm on the pin. Alright, we got it set, but we heard something fall, so now we'll check our tapers again. Which this is the part of this lock. There is 5. 1, 2. 3, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4, 'It's just that pin 4 right there. Now let's check our tapers. 7, we went back to our false set. The reason I picked this lock, 1, again, the limited number of brown belt pin tumblers I own, but also I'm really having to test pin states because this lock does like to mix between the gins and the taper. 7, 6, 5 is binding. 5 is good now. 4, 3, felt some plug movement. 7 should probably put us back in our false set. Nope. 6, 5. 1, 2, let's tap 3. 3 is good. 4, 7, 6. 2, 1. Getting counter rotation on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, 5. There we go. Did we drop 1? Let's swap over that shorter hook. All right, there's 1. It's fully set now. Check pin 2. Two's not binding. Two, three. Let's check pin 4. Pin 2, 3, let's find 4. There we go. All right. Grab a shim for these. I've actually got a bricked one of these because I forgot the shim and a gen fell into drill protection, and all my best efforts of percussive maintenance did not work. I need a little screwdriver for that. I got one right in front of me. There we go. I don't know why they don't use the same clip as the rest of their locks. But you got to get this one started enough that you can get that out. And then I can grab these. Okay. Put that there. Keys. These don't like to shim, but I suggest you make it do it anyway. Tolerances are actually pretty good on these. They just messed up the milling. Get in there. There we go. There's lots of drill protection in these. That stuff will fall out too. You want to make sure you have that back in the lock, because again, they will. There's drill protection. These are drill protection. Wherever that just bounced. That's drill protection. Okay. 2, 3. More drill protection. That one doesn't want to come out, so I guess we'll leave it in there. 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll show you guys the milling and how it's not as sharp as something like an ASA 700. It catches, but it doesn't. It's like I said, it's cone shape, so you don't have to float pick. You can just counter rotate. But the tolerances are good, and you will drop tapers if you're not careful. Or even if you are careful, you're going to drop tapers probably. That's just how it is. What I do with my tweezers, I got right here. And I actually grabbed the wrong follower for this, so I'm really glad I didn't mess that up. All right, we got a tree in 1. A tree in 2. A taper in 3. Go ahead and get these springs. tree in 4. We have a taper on 7. A gin on 6. And another taper on 5. It's a pin just like an ASA 700, just with less effective milling. I'll give you all a close up on that. And just keep it all in there. All right, so like I said, we got 3 trees, a gin, and then 3 tapers, and a pile of drill protection. So that's the Dorma DC 500. Thanks for watching. All right, we got our Robowar here. This is 5 pins with 4 side pins. This one has barrel pins, and it's actually a red belt rated Robowar. I decided to pick the harder one just because it's easier to reassemble than the easier one, because this Bible is so small. They'll use master wafers for drivers on the low cuts, and those are a pain to reassemble. I'm picking the sidebar first on this one because it binds first. I'm back and testing the previous ones. I think those are good. The downside of this is you won't get the deep false set, so it's hard to test them to be 100% sure. All right, we're picking our top pins now. All right, 1 is set. Getting counter rotation. You see that plug moving? It's set now, so it stopped moving. But when you're setting these barrels, binding ones can actually make your plugs hop. All right. See that? Oh, there it went again. Check pin 3. I'm being very careful with this one. It's a lower cut and kind of easy to overset. Pin 4. Let's go back to 1, 2, 3, 5 on this one is actually a no lift. All right, we've got a nice bit of plug rotation there. We'll test our side pins. Unfortunately, I may have to drop some barrels. That feels good. That feels good. That feels good. Hopefully. Let's see, let me double check these. Yeah, that's pin 2. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm really cranking on this pick at this time. 1 is good. 2, see how that jiggle? 3 is binding tight. Now it's jiggling. 1 is good. 2 is good. 3 is good. 4 is good. So it could be a side pin. 4 is good. Let's double check our top again. That's 4. There we go. All right, as you can see, that's a pretty tough lock, and I was really cranking on this, and again, not having any issues. There is a little bit when you're picking the side pins, just because you're pushing upward on the pick, which has nothing to stop it from upward movement. But as far as being able to test the barrels and getting really good, strong feedback, no problem. All right. I'm gonna get this thing gutted. And I was using the 40 thousandths turner on that also. And these locks have a rotation limiter, so they only pick clockwise, which also makes picking those side pins a little trickier, because just the way physics works, if you're turning the same direction, just like picking a dimple lock, if you're turning the same direction as the tension, you're actually putting more binding pressure on the pins. So it's always better if you have a sidebar, whatever side the sidebar is on, it's always better to pick opposite, because you get less binding pressure on the pins. Turn that down. And I just dropped the wafer. That was pin 5. I'll go ahead and pull that spring. I wanted to double check and make sure I had the notch on that oriented correctly. You can see that's what a driver for a no lift looks like. It's just a little master wafer. Make sure I got that right. Okay. I'm going to show you guys the sidebar. Nothing has been done to it. And these are a coated sidebar, if you guys don't know what that means. And you can see that clearly. Out of focus. Come on. Okay, yeah. You can see how the little notches are at different heights. That's a coated sidebar. Instead of having each pin have its own height, the sidebar dictates that, which makes production of the pins easier, because they're all the same pin. All right, we'll dump our key pins. 4, 3, 2, 1. Flip those around. All right, we got our side pins. Just drop the spring, put that right there. I just dump these springs out. All right, I'll show you guys the counter milling on the, get the lighting right. Okay, there we go. You can see it looks almost like threading, and that is designed for the barrel drivers. That is really sharp, and you can see the plug moving around inside the lock as I'm trying to lift the pins. All right. Wrong tweezers. Where did that go? That was a barrel. Oh, great. We want to keep going. Here's the second barrel. The third barrel. The fourth. And we already pulled chamber 5. Regardless, 3 barrels is red. Y'all saw a pin fly out, so regardless, this is still a red belt lock, but I gotta go find that driver now. So let me show y'all a close up on these. And again, those are the false gated pin. These are the false gates. The deep gate is the true, and it uses the coded sidebar to dictate how high you have to lift those. But and there's a little master wafer for the no lift. So let me go find this other barrel I shot across the room, and you guys have fun. All right, so we got a West 916 here. This is a 12-pin dimple lock. See if we can get this picked. I'm going to be using the medium hook as a flag. Let me reset that. There's 3 on the right, 5 on the left. All right. That was 4. Trying to get the hook out. Make sure I'm not hitting stuff I don't need to. There's 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 2 on the right, 3 is good. Okay, we got 3 on the right. That was 5 on the right. Six on the right. Five, I only got a deeper false set. One is good. 2, 3. There we go. Oops, got the tensioners. All right, let's get that gutted. Again, this really isn't what somebody would be using the Riv-Pick for, but again, I'm just showing you guys this kind of stuff just to show you just how well it holds up to abuse, because that's what picking a dimple lock with a hook is. Oh man, I hate I did that. That was really dumb on my part. Okay, so I just messed up a bunch of springs. Good thing is, I have replacements. I just got those two mixed up probably. That was really dumb on my part, but that was me reassembling this thing wrong years ago. What am I missing? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 6. Yeah, I put that hole on the Bible cover, and apparently it snagged springs. So don't do that, guys. I had to drill that hole out for gutting. There's the ball bearing detent. So we'll do it like that now that we're being smart. We'll only drop one set at a time. We'll put that there since those are actually salvageable. Man, I'm dumb. But this is what happens when you pick locks. You do dumb stuff sometimes. So we got mushrooms on 6 and 5 on the left. We had standard on 6 there. Another standard. And I completely forgot about that. And like I said, I got replacements, and those are probably salvageable. We'll see. Well, you guys won't see. I'll see. Because I'm not going to make you guys sit through that. But it is what it is. This is what happens when you pick locks. You tear stuff up sometimes. Grab that spring. I'm not going to dump it. It'll go flying or something. These are really tiny springs. There's nothing really fancy going on in the core, so I'm not going to take that apart. Okay. Let's zoom in on these. You can see we've got security key pins. Like here, this is spooled, so that's an overset trap. You have one overset trap there, and you have mushroom pins and some standards. So that's it for the West 916.